But be mindful of how long it takes you to do these things because you don't want to not have time because you're stumbling through it. So the first one is the area, and we add the coordinate points. We do the ones next to it, and then we duplicate the first two columns, multiply down each column, and you end up with a determinant of negative 35. And no matter what the sign is, you make it positive. So if it's positive, it stays positive, but if it's negative, it has to become positive because there's no such thing as negative area. And we cut it in half. So it should have been 17.5 or 35 over 2 or 17 and a half, like any of those are fine, but it has to be positive. For the collinear one, you're looking to see if the determinant is 0. So I did the same thing. You line up all of your coordinate points. You put ones in the last column. You find the determinant, and this time the determinant was 0. So they are collinear. You can figure out your mistake. This is 0, 2, 4, negative 5, 1, 7. And when you multiply the first one, so like when I multiply, some of you guys go backwards. I literally write the product of that diagonal at the base of its diagonal. So I would get 0 times 1 times 1, that's 0. And then negative 5 times 1 times 4 is negative 20. And then 1 times 2 times 17, or times 7 is 14, and that's negative 6. If you got close but made a mistake, most of you it was at 0. So be really careful if there's that 0 in the column. It zeroes out the whole diagonal. Then I go back the other way. So 4 times 1 is 4. 7 times 1 times 0 is 0. And 1 times 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. So you get negative 6. And then this negative 6 minus this negative 6 becomes negative 6 plus 6, which is 0. And if the determinant is 0, then it is collinear. And then came your Kramer's rule. So the Kramer's rule of a 2 by 2. To find D, we do the X's and the Y's. To find D of X, we take out the X's and put in the constants. So this is the constants and the Y's. And to find D of Y, you leave the X's, you take out the Y's and put the constants. And then find each. So D, like if you think about as far as points go on a test, D itself will be worth some points. D of Y and D of X will both be worth then the overall answer. So I put D of X over D, D of Y over D, and you should get negative 3, negative 2. And then came the 3 by 3. So the 3 by 3 has 3 variables. So you have to find D, D of X, D of Y, D of Z. For D of X, you're doing, or just D, it's the X's, the Y's, and the Z's. Then for D of X, you take out the X's, put in the constants, leave the Y's and the Z's. For D of Y, you leave the X's, take out the Y's, put in the constants, and leave the Z's. And then D of Z, you leave the X's, you leave the Y's, you replace the Z's with the constants, and you find each determinant. So D was 55, D of X is negative 55, D of Y is 165, and D of Z is 110. On Wednesday's test, these answers will be whole numbers, okay? So hopefully if you do make a mistake, then you can catch it. Allison? Negative, oh yeah, sorry, negative 1. I wrote it here, but I didn't write there. Negative 1, okay? Yeah.
Even though they're whole numbers, is it possible to get a fraction in the middle and then like
I mean, yeah, you get a fraction over a fraction. I mean, not typically. You'd have to have a fraction in your matrix in order to get a determinant. That's a fraction. Yeah. All right, so what all together? It's been a little while since we did Gauss-Jordan, and it is the thing. So from 7-4, it's Gauss-Jordan. It's not Gaussian elimination of substitution, which you did on your quiz. It's the Gauss-Jordan, which is the diagonal of ones with the zeros below and above. So you're going to get a system, and you've got to solve it using that. So the first thing I would do, first of all, the goal is 1, 1, 1, zeros above and below for Gauss-Jordan. So I'm going to rewrite this in its matrix form, which would be 1, 1, 1, 3, 0, 1, negative 1, negative 2, and 1, 2, negative 3, negative 11. And then for time purposes, like I'm still in the rough draft phase, but I haven't copied yet. But for time purposes, you will probably get at least 1 0 already so that you don't have to go through all 6, okay? So in this case, you got started with a 0 where I typically go first. So instead, I'm going to work my way down. I want a 0 under it. How do I get it? Okay, so negative 1, row 1 plus row 3. Negative 1. So negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 3, plus 1, 2, negative 3, negative 11. And I get 0, 1, negative 4, negative 14. And that replaces row 3. So now I got 1, 1, 1, 3, 0, 1, negative 2, 0, 1, negative 4, negative 14. Now I want a 0 where the 1 is on the bottom. How do I get it? If I do row 1, I'm going to lose the 0. So I have to use row 2. Okay, so I'm going to do negative 1, row 2 plus row 3. 0, negative 1, 1, positive 2, plus 0, 1, negative 4, negative 14. And I get 0, 0, negative 3, negative 12. And that takes over row 3. So 1, 1, 1, 3, 0, 1, negative 2, 0, 0, negative 3, negative 12. And Wednesday's test is whole numbers. So if at this point you see that bottom row does not go in evenly, like if I multiply by its reciprocal and it doesn't go in evenly, go back and figure out what you did wrong. Okay? So I'm going to multiply by a negative 1/3. So I get 1, 1, 1, 3, 0, 1, negative 2, 0, 0, 1, 4. Now I got to work my way up. I want a 0 where the negative 1 is, but I don't want to lose this 0, so I cannot use row 1. So I'm going to add row 2 and row 3. So I get 1, 1, 1, 3. Add these two together, and I get 0, 1, 0, 2. Bottom row, 0, 0, 1, 4. Then I need a 0 above that 0 I just got. I cannot use row 2. Now I have to use row 3. So I'm going to combine these two. So I could do negative 1 times row 3 plus row 1. And I get 0, 0, negative 1, negative 4 plus 1, 1, 1, 3. 1, 1, 0, negative 1. And that takes the place of row 1. And then I need a 0 where the 1 is in that first row. I cannot use row 3 this time. I have to use row 2. So I'm going to do negative 1 times row 2 plus row 1. And that takes the place of row 1. 1, 0, 0, negative 3, 0, 1, 0, 2, and 0, 0, 1, 4. And then I got to the goal, which is the diagonal of 1s and the 0s above and below, which means that last column is my solution. Negative 3, 2, 4. The more comfortable you are with this method, the more practice you do, the more comfortable you're going to be, and the less likely you are to like throw yourself off by the steps. And then that means you can focus on being cleaner and like more careful with your work, okay? So if you haven't done these and you like come up, don't do the review, and then you come in here on Wednesday and you're like, I got it. I mean, I hope you're right, but kind of think that you won't be. So I really think that you need to make sure that you do the practice on it. Yep.
For like that first step when you multiply the negative 1, does it matter where you multiply the negative 1?
No, I mean, you could also do it in the bottom. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I got something different.
Your rows will be different, but at the end, your answer should be the same.
Oh, okay. Because like you said, like if it's not like divisible by like its reciprocal.
Then if it's not, then something went wrong.
That's what I'm
Yeah. Okay, we could try to go back and catch it. But most likely it's a negative mistake. And that's why, I mean, I warned you before the quiz, not everybody paid attention to it. So people lost credit just for not showing their work. Like, you have to tell me what row operations you're doing, and you have to show your work. 1, because you're going to make a mistake if you try to do it in your head. 2, when you do make that mistake, I can't give you partial credit if I don't understand what you're doing. So don't send me on a wild goose chase and expect to get the partial credit on it. All right, then from 7-6, the only inverse you're doing is the 2x2, because the 3x3 is a lot like the Gauss Jordan. So we're doing Gauss Jordan this time instead of the inverse of the 3x3. So this is where we do 1 over the determinant, and we multiply it. We switch the A and the D, and we negate the B and the C. So like a lot of you did well on this on the quiz, but mistakes made were forgetting to switch or switching the wrong ones, like switching A and D and negating, A and C. No, switching B and C and negating A and D. Okay, so you gotta be really careful. The other mistake was, so when I do the determinant on this guy, I get 6 minus 30, which is negative 24. I do 1 over negative 24. Switch A and D, so it would be negative 2, negative 3. Negate B and C, so it's negative 5, negative 6. And then when you multiply that in, negative 2 over negative 24, negative 5 over negative 24, negative 6 over negative 24, and negative 3 over negative 24, you then have to reduce these. So it should become 1/12, 5 over 24, 1/4, and 1/8. The most simplified form of your inverse is what you should leave at the end. This was in the determinant section, right? No, the same section. The minors and the cofactors. So also, just for time purposes, you're only going to get asked to do one row. So it could say like, just find the minors and cofactors of row 1 or row 2 or row 3. So if it said row 1, I do minor 1, 1, minor 1, 2, and minor 1, 3. And the minor, I cancel out the row and the column it's in, and I do the determinant of what's left. So 4, negative 1, 2, 5. Then it's row 1, column 2. So I'm going to do the determinant of 0, negative 1, 5, and 5. Then it's row 1, column 3. And I'm going to find the determinant of 0, 4, 5, and 2. So I get 20 minus a negative 2, which is 22. 0 minus a negative 5, which is 5. 0 minus 20, which is negative 20. So that would be my row 1. Then for cofactors, which ones do you change sign on? If I'm only doing the top row.
Just the middle one.
Just the middle one. So 22 stays 22, 5 stays negative 5, or becomes negative 5, and negative 20 would be negative 20. Questions on that one? Okay, and then there's really nothing just from 7-7 because 7-7 was your determinant. So instead, that's how you use your determinant. So like in 7-7, we did the determinant. You won't just get a question that says find the determinant, okay? But you will use the 2x2 determinant in here. You will use the 2x2 determinant on your inverse. You will use the 2x2 determinant on your Kramer's rule with 2 variables. And then the 3x3, you use it on your Kramer's rule, you use it on your area, you use it on your collinear, which is like the rest of this stuff. So this is where we started the day. So we're not going to work through these right now because we kind of started the day with these. If I need to go over them, I can do them tomorrow. But these are the topics that we would need to know from 7-8. Find the area, determine if the points are collinear, and then Kramer's rule, both the 2 variable and the 3 variable. So there's technically 4 questions from 7-8. And right now there's only 7 total because you use the stuff from before it in 7-8 over again. Questions? Okay.